Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today, I got is it okay to say the Soto brothers here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Soto brothers here. They got a live campaign right now, but we were talking about coffee right before we went live. So how do you, everybody in the chat, everybody, how do you like your coffee? I'm a Tim Hortons, a little bit of half and half, a little bit of sugar in the raw. That's my perfect cup of coffee. And I'm talking about it because I've been waiting all day. I had none today.
Yeah, I really hope we get a Tim Hortons down south because I've heard good things. The company I worked for before, we had a Canada plant, and I used to talk to the Canadian people over there all the time. They always talked about Tim Hortons. You know, it's getting cold outside. I'm going to have my Tim Hortons. I'm going to wear my
Tidbits. I'm trying to think what a double. That when you go to Tim Hortons and order a double, that's 2 sugars, 2 dabs of cream. Like that's like the standard. That's like saying a coffee regular at Dunkin' Donuts. But
nice.
I like I was saying, I can't even eat a Dunkin' Donut Dunkin' Donut donut. It just tastes like sugar. It doesn't taste good. You know, it has no flavor. Doesn't matter what Dunkin' Donuts you get, it tastes like sugar. It might as well get the same.
Yeah.
Bunch of them up here. We don't want, come and get them. Oh, you don't want it? Where are you, DC Miller? DC Miller's hating on Tim Hortons.
Oh man.
I will hunt him down.
And my wife just said she's going to hunt you down. We went to Vancouver for the unfortunate
British Columbia.
For British Columbia for my wife's mother passed away. We had to go up there, and, you know.
Sorry to hear that.
And we went to a Tim Hortons that was like a restaurant. It was like a Friendly's. I don't know if you know Friendly's out where you guys are, but you sit down and they had chili, and it was like a restaurant.
Wow.
Oh, DC Billy, you're in Vancouver? No wonder you know. Whenever I go late, my hair is just crazy. I just realized. Whenever I go late, DC Biller is always on. And I got to say, Vancouver is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It's just so as far as Canada is concerned, I've been to. Why am I talking about this? I've been to Vancouver, I've been to Montreal, and I've been to Toronto.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'd like to go see. You know
let's take you to Winnipeg in the winter.
Yeah, my wife was from Winnipeg. I haven't seen Winnipeg, and then I want to go see like Newfoundland and all that area. But anyway, this has nothing to do with anything. So, because you guys aren't even in Canada, nor are you Canadians.
No.
You're Southwesterns, right?
We're South Canadians. We're from Mexico. No, I'm just kidding.
DC Miller says there's more places in Canada. The last thing I'm going to talk about. Before I met my wife, I was a school teacher, and then all my friends were working, and I would have off for the summer. You know what I mean? So it's like just what do you do? Sit home? You know, I'm not a beach guy. I don't like going to the beach too much. So I was like, after 1 year of just like sitting around watching TV, waiting for my friends to come home, I'd be like, I'm just gonna get my car, drive. So I would literally drive across the country because you're getting paid. Nice. You know what I mean? It goes right into your bank account. So I would just drive around. So I've been all over the country. Like I lived like as my friends say, oh, you're off to be a serial killer. You know, I drive around the country, even parking lots, you know, a lot of cool, like little day adventures, you know, kind of like a what I'd walk the earth like Cain, you know, like
right.
Friction, you know, just meet people and, you know, people invite me over for dinner and stuff. Because you see how I'm just a talker. I'll talk to anybody. But now that I'm married, I keep saying to my wife, let's go do the same thing in Canada. You know, I want to fly to Alaska, and then while I'm in Alaska, rent a car and just drive, because I'm a construction worker now. I have 10 weeks furlough. It's not summer vacation, so it could be in the winter or something. But like, all right, when I get the furlough, just ask for the 6 weeks in one shot and drive. But she doesn't have enough vacation time, so. This has nothing to do with it. Rumor has it you guys have a comic book or something.
That is the rumor. That is the rumor.
Yeah, I'll put this up. So you guys have a comic book. Ben, I've been on Ben invited me on his channel. That's how I met. And then you guys came back, and then
yeah, then I came on your channel.
Yeah,
just like a week later.
Yeah. So you
and
have
been on his channel too.
Oh, you've been on it. That's nice, brother. So you got Streets Volume 2.
Sometimes I'm good.
On my comic right now. And I got to point this out because my comic, Heroic Tales, it's funny how time creeps up on you. Yeah. I haven't been paying attention, because they say, you guys can probably back me up. When the campaign first starts, you're super nervous and you check it every 10 seconds.
Right.
And then in the middle of the campaign, you're like getting on with your life, and then all of a sudden, my campaign is ending on Saturday. So I think Friday night I'm going to do it's clobbering time, and then after that, I think I'll do a closeout party for a fun
Nice.
month.
Nice.
So how long do you have left for your campaign?
We've got 10 days left.
Oh, 10 days left. Okay. For some reason, I thought you had longer time than that. So without any further ado, then let's bring up your campaign, Tricks and Treats, Not Heroic Tales. And let's see. So this is your campaign right now.
Yes.
I feel so clever when I could do stuff like this now. When I first started doing my channel, it was just me on my Apple phone talking to people. They're like, bring up my campaign. I'm like, I don't know. You know, watch my interview with my first talk with Mike Barrett. He was just like, what am I doing? Anyway, this is Trick and Treats. You got 10 days to go. All right. But I could play the trailer, right?
Yeah. It's a little long. It's 2 minutes long.
Okay. I'm gonna play. I just asked because sometimes there's like trademark music that gets me in trouble.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. This is a collection of horror short stories.
That's right. Yeah, it's an anthology. It's going to have 7 short stories in there. And it's going to be over 100 pages.
Right. This is $10 for the digital book.
Yeah.
And then $20 for the digital 3-pack, which is smart. This brings everybody up to speed for $20.
Right.
How can you go wrong with that? And then $30 for the physical book. And cover B. Oh, how many pages did you say?
It's going to be a little over 100.
Right. I knew it was over 100, but I didn't want to say it's over 100, right? Then you're like, no, it's only 26. You know, so, yeah. So I talked to so many people, I forget. So $55, you can get both. That's 200 pages. That's awesome. And $60, you get all of this. Look at that. Physical copy of the book, bookmark, Halloween button, stickers, a wristband. There's something you don't see. Is that one of those snap-on wristbands? Oh, no, I see the rubber
It's
wristband.
like a silicone. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. T-shirt. I think I probably told you, Ben, last time that is a great looking mug.
Thank you.
Oh, how did I miss that mug last time I looked at this? Did I not scroll down? Oh man, I love that mug. I think I have to. because I got it back. I was waiting for you guys to come on my channel. I got it back. I think I got to get that mug. But this image, when I saw this
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah. Preston Acevedo drew that, and he did an awesome job.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that you're. Sometimes I'm scrolling things and I realize that I don't have it on stream. Yeah, this is really cool. You said there was like a Twilight Zone, H.P. Lovecraft horror vibe to this. You got me with that. Those are like,
Yeah.
that's like half my childhood. The other half of my childhood being superheroes and Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I guess that's 4 halves of my childhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. And this is how many you have more than one campaign? I mean,
Yeah, I only have this one campaign going right now.
no, but altogether you did Trick or Treat Volume 1, and didn't you do another volume before that, or another campaign before that, or am I mistaken?
No, I think we've only done one so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just looking at all your team over here, and there's one image that I absolutely love. Well, there's a lot of image. This is really creepy.
Yeah.
There's something about the silhouettes, the right eyes, the red eyes. It just gives you a creep. And you know who this? I couldn't think of it, but after we were done talking, this reminds me of Murderer Bob from Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the girl's like imaginary mock-up because she didn't want to believe that the father was the killer. That scared the crap out of me. But there's an image that I'm scrolling down for.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Where is it? There.
Right there. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I've been thinking about that since the last time you came on my channel. I'm just gonna leave that up for a minute.
Yeah, and Justin can tell you all about it. He's the one who drew it.
Justin. You drew this. That's right. Yeah.
I did, yeah. A lot of people seem to like that panel quite a bit.
Yes,
I showed it to my wife when I first drew it, and she was like, "That's a good panel. That's gonna be the the one people like."
Yeah.
It's creepy.
So I know you don't want to spoil the story again, everybody. The short stories, now are all the stories tied together like in the same universe?
No.
Okay.
No, they're all just like short stories. They're on their own universe, whatever. This particular one's called Die Brücke. It's German for the bridge, and it's basically the story is that these 4 U.S. Soldiers got to go in and do a research facility in Nazi Germany, and they got to rescue a spy and recover some technology. The technology is Die Brücke, and it's has the ability to open up a portal to another area. It's a sort of wormhole technology, and it ends up opening up a portal to this different dimension where it unleashes this radiation that makes these creatures. And it's a lot of Lovecraft. There's a lot of The Thing kind of influences into it. It all kind of comes from urban legends and stuff of World War II, like Die Glocker, or
what was that?
Oh, what's the other one?
Die
Glocker.
Yeah, what is that? I don't know that.
So that one, it's a pretty interesting one. The story goes that the Nazis were building this, or that they weren't building. They actually, I think they recovered a UFO basically, and then they kind of worked with the technology to make it into a ship of their own. And Die Glocker means the bell, and it's shaped kind of like a bell thing. And the story goes that as the facility was destroyed or something like that, like it went missing, and they were never able to find it. But the rumor is that it really did exist, all that stuff. But
I love stuff like that. Well, it's a myth. It's a myth.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then there's another urban legend called the Rat House. Now, the location of that is a real place. I think it's like some kind of government facility in Germany. But the urban legend is that there were some people that went in after World War II was over, and it was apparently a facility used to keep like prisoners, and like they did some kind of occult experiments in there or something. But they end up, the people that are, I guess, excavators. I don't know what they were actually supposed to be in this legend, but they go in there and they see that it's actually still haunted by like ghosts and stuff, and the lower parts of the basement were flooded with water, so they want to see what's down there. They send down like 3 guys. Only one comes back up, and he's got this story to tell of, hey, there's like people down there that are tied to chairs, and they're still alive somehow underwater after all of these years. And this is supposed to be like 10, years, like 30 or 10 or 15 years after World War II happens. But if you want like a greater detail and a much better telling of those particular urban legends or those stories, I got the inspirations for this story from those stories on this channel called Bedtime Stories. They've got like a whole catalog of really cool stories and really cool inspiration. So yeah, I would listen to those all day at work, and I was like, man, that would be really cool if I made a story that was like kind of inspired by like German technology or like a German facility. And
I'm gonna share a spoiler, Justin.
Oh yeah, okay, go for it. Yeah, go for it. Oh yeah.
So they open the portal into the other dimension, and this is like what they see. This is like yeah. Justin did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that is awesome. Who colored it?
I did.
That's Ben. Yeah.
Yeah, my brothers like guitars and hiking. They don't do anything cool.
Hippies.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Is there a name for this monster?
Malkesh. Yeah.
Malkesh. Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm going to bring back this image. Did I just? I hit like a jerk. I closed the wrong image. Present, share screen. This. I'm thinking this I absolutely love too. These are the 2 images that just really stuck with me after we talked, Ben. This I don't know what it is, but this just encapsulates like claustrophobia, and I don't care who you are. I think we have like a inherent fear of being trapped. I get claustrophobic sometimes at work. I'll be I'm a construction worker. I'll go into a pit and we're digging stuff, and every once in a while I'll just have to stop and like look around, check the exits. You know what I mean? You start to get like a little, especially when it's like they pour the cement. I don't know how much you guys know about concrete, but for buildings they'll make like a literally a square box, and then they'll put in copper stuff, and that's where all the wires will come in to attach to a building. So when you go in there, the electricians go in there first. We go down there, we lower everything. It is terrifying because like you're just in a box. I mean, there's ladders you can get out, but you don't, for a split second you think about that. So I don't know. I'm babbling about claustrophobia. This is how you feel. You know?
Definitely. And just like the way the guy's receding into the darkness behind him as well. It's like it's swallowing him.
Yeah, I really like this. And this, I don't know, but I must have saw something as a kid, but I've always found these diving bells to be kind of scary.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like a regular guy scuba diving doesn't give me the creeps, but a guy walking on the bottom like this is scary to me. The ocean is scary.
Yeah.
Walking on the bottom of the ocean, because you're not really swimming. It's like you walk and then you come up to a boat. You know what? It makes me feel like like you're invading an alien world.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. It's strange physics. It's almost like you're an astronaut out in space or something like that, because it's such a different world with these alien creatures around you. You're just not used to seeing every day. Absolutely. Yeah.
So 2 brothers working on a comic. Do you guys fight and say, I'm going to tell mom? Like, how do you decide what you're going to do?
No, mom doesn't care.
Yeah.
Mom just says, don't make me take away your crayons.
Right.
Well, serious question. Like, were you little kids that were just constantly drawing and writing and doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we started when I was about age 13. So, and Justin is 7 years younger than me, so he would have been.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like 6 or so. But yeah,
about 6. Yeah.
Did you? I forget. I asked you. Did you play like Dungeons and Dragons and things like that?
We didn't play Dungeons and Dragons, but we used our imagination a lot. We were poor, so we used our imagination a lot.
We had paper dolls and everything.
It's D&D. All you have to do is buy one Dungeon Master's book, and that's it. The rest is loose leaf and pencils and stuff. But yeah, I can see why you wouldn't. I had to hide it from my grandfather because it had like a big fire monster on it, and he thought it was the devil. So he
Yeah.
To hide that stuff. Pop's coming over. So you were always drawing, always like did you take art classes, or are you guys just like precocious creators?
Both.
Jeez.
Both. I think because we started young, we were pretty proficient at it by the time we got to college, and we both in college took art classes.
That was my next question. Did you take art classes in college?
Yeah,
I took history and religions. How does that?
Yeah.
History is good fodder for storytelling, but
Yeah.
I should have taken more English writing and things like that. Like it has nothing to do with you, but I got like the Strunken Whites because I'm having trouble with verb tenses and stuff when I'm writing a script. I'm trying to be technically more competent. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the robot could punch the superhero could punch. I think that's exciting, but I want to make sure that the structure of the sentences actually makes sense. I know nobody cares about grammar anymore, but I'm old school. Hey, Eric the Guapo's here. How you doing? Pops is here.
Hey, Pops.
Bat Sauce is a new name. Good to see new names. I love seeing new names. So you guys are working together. You got your big team, and you got 10 days left on your campaign. I didn't check. Did you hit your goal yet?
Yes, we did.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. And I assume you guys are gonna. Who's gonna fulfill it? Which brother?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Older brother's gonna take care of everything. That's good.
Yeah.
I get some of the glory, but that's about it.
That's good.
Wait, Justin did the heavy lifting on this book. He did most of the writing and drawing. So
What did you do? Oh, you're mailing me. That's important too. Well, you've been doing a lot of the promotion.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, and let me ask you guys: how are you guys? Do you like promoting? Do you like coming on and talking to people? I mean, you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you say you hate this.
I think Justin's more. I'm more of an introvert than Justin is, but
I'm also an introvert.
But he's also an introvert and doesn't really get online as much as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people will tell me like afterwards, I was so nervous. I hate doing this. It was nice talking to you, but I said this a million times. It's like a big topic on my channel is that like comic books are a solo introvert activity.
Yeah, definitely.
I forget who I was talking to because I talk to a lot of people every week. But one of the things we were talking about is I moved into this neighborhood and my wife saw me building a game room down here, and I got an oversized game table built because I like to do miniature war gamings. And in order to do that, you need a 3 feet by 3 foot mat. So I could fit 2 3 foot by 3 foot mats. So that should tell you how big this table is. It's bigger than the average kitchen, dining room table. It's all wood, beautiful table. And she's like, I can't believe you spent all this money and you had this table built and everything like that. And I was like, don't worry, I'll make friends. And then I went to the comic book store that was around the block. You can't just walk into a comic book store and like, hey, how you doing? Hey, you like Batman? I like Batman. Guys like they leave really fast. You know what I mean? So I didn't get too many friends at the comic book store. But there's a game store in the opposite direction, but about the same distance. And I walk in there, and you go in there. There's guys war gaming all over the place. There's people over here playing regular board games, and and they're all like, look around. We need a fourth. And next thing you know, I'm sitting at a table. And over the course of 2 hours, you chit chatting to people. By the end of 2 hours, people come into your house for playing, board games.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to make is, like, I got game groups that come here. Like last night, I just had a game group. Tomorrow, I have another game group coming over. Different groups that don't even know each other. But I still have yet to have like comic book people come in and hang out. So comic books really is. I don't want to say an antisocial because antisocial means you don't like people, but it's
right. It's isolated.
It's a solitary hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I'm going a long way around this question. So like when you were kids, did you find other comic book friends and make friends with, because of comic books?
I did when I was in college, like taking my art classes. There was other fellow comic book fans, and that's the reason they were taking art classes, because they wanted to draw comics for a living. And so I did. I had like it was a small group of us, maybe like 4 of us, but yeah,
But it wasn't until college. So like in
Yeah.
junior high school and high school, it's not like you had a group that went to the comic book. Even did you go like every Wednesday to the comic book store and you know and
look, no, I think
win the thing or
for us it was like Sundays, because like after church we'd go to the mall, and the mall's where the comic book shop was, and so that's where we'd go check it out.
I just want to. Oh, I've been ignoring the chat. I have
Yep.
supreme command of the English language. John Grammar is huge for me as a syntax. Yeah, well, he's Logic's finest, of course. You know, and I keep inviting him on the channel, and he keeps saying he wants to come, but we never said anything. I, for one, prefer correct grammar. Some call that being a grammar Nazi. I prefer proper grammar, but I make mistakes. And then, if anybody, you guys are writers, you'd know when you read your own stuff, you don't catch your mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I wrote a scene for issue 2 of Heroic Tales where I'm spoiling it, but one of the characters meets another character from another comic book. You know, he gets knocked unconscious and it's a hallucination kind of thing. So I wanted to write it like my friend's character, and when I sent it to him, he goes, "You repeated this word 3 times." You know, he wouldn't talk, and I was like, "You're right, I didn't notice that." You know what I mean? But I read it over and over and over before I sent it to him because I didn't want to embarrass myself. But it's just proof you can't edit yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to reread it, and then I send stuff to the letterer, and the letterer sends me back. Is this what you mean? I mean, I'll put it in word fluid. Is this what you mean?
Yeah.
Thank God I got you.
Well,
English,
that's a good letter,
Yeah.
because he could just copy and paste it and not cared.
correct grammar and proper grammar aren't the same thing. So-called posh or upper class formal speech is proper grammar. The usage of words proper grammar. You see, I guess I use correct grammar, but I don't use proper grammar. Now that you made me think of it. El Guapo, how you doing? Who proper? Okay, so he made a mistake. Good. K. Ojo, greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina. Cool. How's everything in Raleigh, North Carolina? Growing up, I hid my comics because I didn't want to be made fun of. Didn't make comic friends until I was an adult. Oh, let me ask you guys that. Is that? I see Justin's nodding his head. You hid your comics?
I didn't know somebody who liked comics outside of my family until I was already probably in my like late 20s. Like even in school, like it was really hard to find somebody that was like actually interested in comic books. Like they all saw like the movies and stuff, and they had like passing knowledge of it, but actually like liking comic books. Manda, my wife, is like the only person I met in college that was like that. So I married her.
You're like, oh, you want to get married?
And that's how it went. Yeah, that's all it takes.
I remember before I met my wife, you know, I went through a series of dates with some girls that were crazy, some girls were cool, but it was always just like, now is when they find out I'm into comics. You know, how did that work out? You know,
Yeah.
that was always like, you know, the third date is supposed to be the date. You know what I mean? The
Right.
third date for me was like, they're going to see a comic book collection. And I know some other guys showed the girls something else on the third date. But for me, they're going to see a long box. We'll see how that's going to go.
Your long box. Huh?
But when I was in high school, I fortunately had a group of comic book friends. But I'm embarrassed to admit it, and it is a bad thing to admit, but I was embarrassed of like other friends. So we kind of like kept up a partition. Like I played football, and I was on the football team, you know, and I was like, I can't let my comic book friends know. Fortunately, most of my comic book friends went to a different high school. Like this is long, complicated, but I grew up on the border of 2 towns, so I went to one high school, but most of my friends went to this high school. My comic book friends, but I knew these guys from football.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I was like, football guy. And then as I got older, we all started getting cars and driving, and the groups would start to meet. I was like terrified that they would meet. And then one day I was just sitting home. I remember specifically I had Daredevil comics. I was reading Daredevil, and my football friends just came over to tell me about a party or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, I love Daredevil," and they're like, "Oh, I have this one." And I was like, "I've been living in fear of this like for 2 years, and nobody cared."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then I started inviting my comic book friends and my football friends. Worlds collide, Jerry, and the world did. I was the jerk for doing that.
Right.
Oh, he said, I already went through this. Chuck Dixon is very good at using different grammar for each character. Yes, I totally agree. He's really good with not only using different grammar, but I hate when people like use like I'm going to say the wrong word, but they'll spell words wrong to show like dialects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's really difficult to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just raved about a comic book called Trombone Man because this was set in 1962 Kingston, Jamaica. So it was like a pidgin French and English mix. So of course the words are spelled different. But I'm not smart enough to do that. And I don't think most people are. But Chuck Dixon could use proper spelling words, but put the words in a sentence that when you read it out loud, it gives off like a dialect or I'm sure I'm using the words incorrectly. I always
Accent or something like that.
accent the dialect. I always forget when you use each one of these two words. And here's Marcus being an awesome moderator, remembering that we got to let everybody know. Marcus. Yeah, Marcus is awesome. I babble on and on about stuff. Woodrow, good to see you. Everybody's saying hello. I like everybody. I love how pleasant my chat is. Everybody gets along.
Yeah.
Oh, Woodrow's got to go. That's good. Nobody made fun of me for reading comics. Everyone else is too busy. And that's what happened to me. I worked it up. Although I always tell the story about this one girl. She would come into the comic book store. My junior and senior year, I was working in the comic store. And it was just understood. She would buy the comics. She would go into the bathroom. And then she would come out with no comics because she literally would stuff the comics down her throat because her parents would not let her read comics. So
Wow.
she was, sneaking comics into her house like a drug mule, And when my father died, I still saw that man, and he still hated comics. So I wonder, did he ever lighten up? Because my father passed away about 12 years ago. It was less than I saw him. So you never went to the comic stores, like hung out. You said you went after church on Sundays.
Yeah, we would all just go to the mall to eat, at the food court. Then afterwards, the kids, we would just kind of split up and we'd just go wherever we wanted to, and we'd go straight to the comic book shop.
And your parents, they were cool. They didn't bother.
Yeah, they were fine with it.
You're younger than me. Your parents probably were reading comics themselves.
I think my dad did.
He had some when he was younger.
Yeah. My dad's an old timer. He had like Captain Marvel's, the first Action Comics, Batman. He swears he had them all, and everybody says that. But when he tells stories, I'm like, I think because he'll remember the backup stories. I'm like, Dad, you had. Don't tell me how much your grandmother threw away in comics. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. He said you went off to the Navy.
Yeah.
He says before he was even down the street, his mother and father were putting boxes of garbage and comics on the sidewalk.
That's heartbreaking.
The funny story I always tell is my grandmother, my mother's mother, she was in her 90s and she used to walk around the neighborhood, just walk. And one day she says to me, "Oh, John, I saw one of the neighbors. They were throwing away a stack of comic books. They had a big stack of comics. They were all tied up with the string, and I can't remember where they were. I don't remember where they were because I walk around the neighborhood. But then I figured, big deal. They were only worth 10 cents.
Wow.
Nana, where? But my grandmother, she was probably remembering 1938,
Right.
So I was like, I can't get myself worked up on this story. But every once in a while, I'm like, where are those comics? They were only worth 10 cents.
Yeah. Man. That's crazy.
So you guys are horror guys, and you seem normal.
Yeah.
We sure do seem that way.
We do seem that way, yeah.
That's the point. That's what happens. Most normal. You don't get to be a horror guy if you look like a horror guy, with the exception of Stephen King.
Those guys are posers. Yeah.
Yeah. So why horror comics? As opposed to superhero comics or sci-fi or anything like that.
Justin.
Um, I don't know. It's just fun, you know. We grew up watching horror movies. Stayed up late on Saturday nights watching what's his name, Joe Bob Briggs
Yeah,
Oh
it's
wow, I
and
love
yeah.
TNT. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time I saw They Live, John Carpenter, and I was like, that's a good one. I need to keep that one right here in my
I
heart.
love John Carpenter.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and we would watch like the X Files all the time. Again, like late Saturday nights, they show reruns on Fox, I think. And yeah, so it's just something that we kind of grew up with, watching these horror shows, and there's just something like really fun, really anything's possible, but there's also that like element of danger because it's horror, so it's sci-fi. It can be, you know, any of these genres, but there's that little spice of it. You know, you put like a little bit of horror in it. There's like a monster. There's something around the corner that kind of like intrigues you. Of like, you know, it's cool here, but you know, maybe there's something that's bad for me at the same time. So I don't know. It's a fun avenue to explore. These stories are, you know, are homage to um, you know, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, that kind of stuff, where we just get to tell these short stories. They're self-contained, but you know, we get to explore these characters and a cool concept. You know, that's why horror for us, I think.
Is this what you wanted? Like Trick or Treats? You're gonna do volume 3. You're gonna do volume 27. You're gonna do volume 38. You're gonna stick with horror stories.
We're gonna stick with horror, but we are gonna take a break from the anthologies to work on a character-driven story.
Okay.
And so that's what we're working on next.
Character-driven horror story.
Yeah.
See, I tried to do horror, but horror is like, to me, horror and comedy are the same thing because it's timing.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
you really got to have good timing, and I'm trying to work on my timing, the page flips, and you know, to really get
Yeah.
the most impact out of a laugh or a joke or a horror moment. So I got to give credit where credit is due. I find like I'm underselling myself right here, but I'm finding like superheroics. You need timing, but not as much as comedy and horror. So you know, and sadness. I think sadness is the easiest of all of them. So I have two or three sad issues coming up in the future. I already know
Yeah.
Rena from Fiendish is already pre-mad at me when I told her behind the scenes what was going to happen in one of the comics. But the thing that I'm strict about with horror is the rules. I hate when they break the rules within a horror movie. Do you understand? You understand what I'm talking about? When they establish that the ghost can't cross salt, and then to make it scarier, it's just going through salt or whatever. You know.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you think about that? Or like, when you make a story, do you have like the paranormal rules of the monsters or their, you know, the ghosts, the werewolves, or whatever?
It just depends on what the story calls for because each one is different. We've had, for example, a couple of different versions of Bigfoot stories in our Volume 1 book. Like we had one that was an alien from outer space. That's where he came from. We had another one that he was like this ancient Native American tribe type being. And so it just really depends on what the story calls for.
Right. Well, this within the story though, the rules change. Yeah, I mean the rules.
Yeah. No, we try to keep it all.
You know what I mean? When you're watching a horror movie and you all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
What are you doing? You know, you just broke.
He just said he can't do this, and now he's doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so are you classic horror movie fans? Like werewolves, vampires?
Yeah. Absolutely. Universal
Monsters.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep toying with. I want to make a villain in one of my comics. You know, you'll know that I've run out of all my main stories that I want to tell when I break out this villain. But he's going to be called the Universal Monster, and he's just going to be a guy who could transform into the Frankenstein and Gill Man. You know, and then at the end he's going to turn into the Blob, and people are going to be like, "The Blob is a Universal Monster." You know.
It'd be funny if he looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know, the Universal Soldier.
There you go. There you go.
That's how he starts off, and then he turns into the Universal Monsters.
That's scary enough. It looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, my older brother, as much as I'm into superhero comics and everything, he's into horror movies. So when you were saying just growing up, he would wake me up. You know, I'd be sound asleep, and John, let's go. and we'd sneak downstairs. This is back in the late 70s, early 80s, when each house only had one TV.
Yeah.
So we'd sneak all the way downstairs, and we'd have to turn the TV at a reasonable volume so we didn't wake up the parents. And we'd sit in front of the TV and watch like Hammer horror films, and they were edited because this is either they were on regular TV or like slasher films like Pieces, and I'm trying to remember what other movies that we. And I thought that was the coolest thing, and it took me a couple of years to realize that he was just scared to watch him by himself. So you're 7 years younger than your brother. Is this the same thing? Did he make you watch the horror movie because he was just too scared to watch it by himself?
No, I think I'm pretty sure that he just wanted me to enjoy it with him. But as far as I know, the only time he got scared at something was when he was already kind of an adult, and it was like The Ring or something like that. That was the first time I ever heard my brother was scared of something.
Yeah, that's right. So I was going to college, was not paying attention to what the movies were at the time. And I had a buddy come and ask me, he's like, hey, I'm going out with these two girls. Do you want to come with me? And we're going to go watch a movie. And I'm like, what movie? And he said, it's called The Ring. And I was thinking, romantic comedy or something like that. So I walked in blind. I walked in cold. We go, we watched the movie. I'm like, whoa, the beginning freaked me out. So I did not know what I was walking into. And I think that's the only reason that really affected me. So after that, I was like, I want to turn this TV around.
My older brother, the same one that is horror, he watches horror movies. He's got like a shed with all signed posters and everything like that. His daughter is 30 years old now, and if you just say The Ring to her, she's like, because he traumatized them all watching all these horror movies. And I'll never forget my niece Megan. She was a pipsqueak. She must have been kindergarten or so, and we went to go see I think it was Freddy versus Jason or something like that.
Yeah,
I bringing my niece with them, and she's sitting there. I in my imagination, this bucket of popcorn is as big as her, and she's just sitting there eating the popcorn, and we're all looking, to see if she's okay. Freddy's killing people, Jason's killing people, and I'm like, looking. We're all watching her, and she sees us looking, and one of the girls goes, I'm going to go take a shower. And she just goes, she's a goner. Well, she's fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so my whole family watches horror movies. The funniest horror memory in my house was everybody went to go see The Exorcist. So I don't remember what year. I was too young. I don't even think I was in kindergarten yet. But all my little brothers and sisters and their friends, they all went like as a group to go see The Exorcist. And I don't know about you guys, but that's one of the few movies that still kind of scares me.
Yeah.
The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby still kind of scare me. And the first Night of the Living Dead still kind of scare me. Those are the three, to me, scariest horror movies.
Yeah.
And, so they all leave, and my father goes, I'm going to scare them tonight. I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, I'm going to scare him. He goes, so me and my father, we push the couch out a little bit, and he gets behind the couch. Oh, yeah. And I think maybe it was the Amityville Horror. And so he goes, when they come home, I'm going to yell, get out, get out. So it was the Amityville Horror. Yeah. So he gets behind the couch. I go to bed. My father falls asleep. So I wake up. It's like 4:00 in the morning, and I'm here. I'm like, what's going on? And I look, my brother's in the top bunk. I'm over my other brothers in that bed. We had bunk beds. There's three of us. So I'm walking around like, what's going on? I'm like, oh no. And I go into the living room. My father's behind the couch. And I go, Dad. And he just starts laughing. He fell asleep. But in his dream, he remembered he was supposed to yell, get out. So in his dream, he was yelling, get out, but it was coming out. I had to move the couch and him out. The trick failed.
That's awesome.
Oh, Marcus agrees with me. When I was a kid, Rosemary's Baby scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, that was a creepy one. Damien is another one that creeps me out too.
The first Omen was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm glad Marcus said this. He's a good moderator. He prods me without outright poking. But your stories, the like that painting of the diver, and then that image that I love with that machine and that antlered guys, that they're more creepy than outright like gore.
Right. Yeah.
Now, is this on purpose?
Mhm.
Yeah, we really like what we like about horror movies, and what really scares us about horror movies is the psychological effect that it has on you, not the blood and guts, um, but the actual psychological effect. Like after you've done with the story and you walk away, like what are the thoughts that are going to linger? What imagery is going to linger? And so that's the kind of stuff we think about.
Yeah, me too. That's one of the reasons why I'm a big Lovecraft fan. Is everybody is like, oh, Lovecraft. They go tentacles, blah, blah, and then they read a Lovecraft story and they're like, nothing happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, that's just it. It's like a guy's telling another guy who's telling the psychiatrist.
Right.
Like you're 4 people away from the story, and was it madness? Did it really happen? Did it not happen?
Right.
And then like at night, you thinking that was pretty scary. Like the way things describe, that scares me more.
Mhm.
That's why Rosemary's Baby scares the crap out of me. My wife and I did this thing where she picked her scariest movie, and I picked my scariest movie. And she watched Rosemary's Baby like, yeah, big deal. I'm like, don't you get it? Everybody's in on it. This poor woman needs help, and it's a conspiracy, and which is it still scares me. Like
Yeah.
The Shining kind of scares me a little bit, and you don't really see. And she picked I can't even remember the name of it, but it was like a gory slasher,
Mhm.
and that stuff doesn't scare me at all. Like
Yeah.
my older brother and I, every year for how many years, we would go to see the new Friday the 13th movie in the movie theater. That was our thing, and I remember being like scared, like going like this. And when I set up this TV down here, I said, I'm going to watch every Friday the 13th. I was out of work a couple of months ago with hernia surgery, so I was doing the same thing. I'm just going to watch a marathon of Friday, and I was laughing. I'm like, I can't believe I thought this was funny. But then I put on Rosemary's Baby again, and I got creeped out. I got scared. I think psychological
Mhm.
creepiness is more terrifying than monsters eating brains and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely makes a bigger impression.
Mhm.
The scariest movie that I've ever seen personally was Phantasm. Like that movie still haunts me, and that final scene where the monsters come out, like they break through the glass and bring the kid in at the end, like that scarred me, and I could never like turn my back towards a mirror after that. and that's kind of what we're after. Is like we want something just to kind of linger in your head. We're not trying to scare you with blood and guts. We're trying to scare you, not even scare you, but just make you think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other movies. Did you see The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That was a long time ago.
Rutger Hauer is hitchhiking, and
Yeah.
Thomas Howell picks him up. And he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And Rutger Hauer's like, "Hey, I'm doing great. I mean, what do you do for a living?" He's like, I hitchhike, and then when people pick me up, I'm nice to them. After a while, then I kill them. And he's like, "Ha ha ha!" And he goes, "And I'm gonna kill you." And then Thomas Howell does like everything right. In a horror movie, the guy's just like, they do the stupid thing, like, "Oh, monster's coming! I'm gonna go take a shower." You know what I mean?
Right.
Thomas Howell does everything right, but Rutger Hauer and that scares the crap, because it could happen. Like Rosemary's Baby can happen, but like I always say to my wife, I don't believe in the occult, but I believe that other people believe in the occult.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a terrible movie, Eyes Wide Shut. Did you see that?
No, never saw that one.
It's
I saw that one, yeah.
there's a whole conspiracy theory about that movie, and that's one of the few conspiracy theories I actually believe, that the Illuminati sabotaged that movie because he was getting too close. But what scares me about that movie is how people are in on it, and you don't know who you could trust and who you can't trust. That kind of stuff scares me the most. Like you said at the beginning, psychological horror.
Yeah.
Or blood and guts horror. So tell me some of your favorite horror movies then. You said The Ring. Well, I don't know if that's your favorite, but that scared you. I don't know.
Phantasm was my favorite.
Phantasm was your favorite? What about you?
And then for me, one of my favorites, kind of along the lines of psychological thriller, kind of occult stuff, would be The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man.
The first one?
The first, not Nicolas Cage. That one's scary for a different reason. The first one. No, that one is scary also for like those reasons. Like you don't know what people are capable of when they believe in something enough. They can do these horrible things, and you could be screaming for help, and you're just you're trapped in there, and that's that feeling of claustrophobia that's haunting. being isolated from anything that can help you or anything that has empathy for you. You're just trapped in these people with these people that think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, the Wicker Man. I'm so glad you brought that up because I forgot about that. But first off, it's the weirdest movie in the world because it's a musical, and it's a horror movie. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Why? Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. Yeah.
When and I can't remember the main actor's name, but the good guy.
George C. Scott, wasn't it?
Was it George? It wasn't George C. Scott.
I don't think it was George C. Scott. It was some other guy. Yeah, but he looks a lot like him.
I forget who it was, but spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen a 60-year-old horror movie yet. When they lock him up in the wicker and they're all with smiles on their face
singing.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
that scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't believe in the occult, but I believe in other people believe in the occult.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that I'm glad you brought that up. That is like a weird movie. And Christopher Lee said it was his favorite movie that he ever made.
Really?
Yeah. I totally recommend. And did you ever notice that that's the inspiration for Jack Skellington and Sally?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
The guy's wearing the black suit, and then Christopher Lee. Remember, he wears the wig and the patchwork dress. That's Sally.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
go check that out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never picked up on that. Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked up on it either. But there's other people who watch a lot more TV. And movies. Wow, I'm so glad you brought that up. That is I never saw the the Nicolas Cage remake of it.
Yeah.
That I don't want to. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to either.
Yeah, that's fine.
So So you said you're going to do a longer form, character driven horror comic.
Yeah, so it's not just going to be straight horror. It's going to be like a superhero horror.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be aimed at younger audience. And actually, I'll share
Oh, cool.
an image here with you.
Superhero horror is kind of tough because, like, is that scary when the guy could lift 10 tons and shoot laser beams?
Right. So this is the character. His name's Little Jack.
What's his name?
His name's Little Jack.
Little Jack?
Yeah.
Cool. That's an awesome drawing.
Yeah, this is drawn by Ryan Wynn. And I did the colors on it.
That is awesome. And so this is an all ages or for
Yeah,
kids?
probably like 13 up, like PG-13, I would say.
Okay. What's the name of the book going to be?
It's going to be called The Frightening Adventures of Little Jack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
When is this campaign going to go up?
We were hoping next year, but it'll probably be like the year after.
You got to do it around Halloween, right? Or at least you either got to launch it around Halloween or deliver around Halloween.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And so this is going to be like a novel length comic.
It's going to be it'll be like a regular like floppy length. It'll probably be like 30, I think 6 pages. Justin,
cool.
that we're at.
That sounds right. Yeah. 35, 36.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come back and promote this when you're ready for this. I want to bring up your campaign one more time.
Okay.
Let me get your tricks and treats. Let me bring this up. Okay. So these are the two covers.
Yeah.
So a black and white version and a color version.
Right.
I just want to check out all your swag. Do you guys go all out for Halloween? Like, do you give out like full-size Snicker bars and stuff like that?
I don't do full-size Snicker bars, but what I like to do is I like to like stuff like a sandwich bag full of candy. So instead of just handing out like a handful, I like every kid gets like a big whopping like bag of candy.
Oh, that's good. This mug is awesome.
Thank you. Glad you liked it.
Yeah. And then these sketches are pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, there's Cthulhu. There we go.
Yep, there he is.
So who would win in a fight, Godzilla or Cthulhu?
Probably Cthulhu.
Yeah, probably Cthulhu. Yeah.
Let me see. There was something else I wanted to talk about now. Who drew this?
Justin.
I did.
Yeah.
Those are watercolors. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. And my
Thank
mouse
you.
stopped working. There we go. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. I really like the dot matrix
Yes.
of the coloring.
Yeah, that's something we talked about because we want to make each story feel a little different. And so when I was going to color this one, I talked to Justin and I was like, I'd like to do this in the kind of like the old EC comics, like
Yeah.
that kind of style. And he was like, yeah, go for it. So that's what I did, and came out great. And then Keith Gleason, when he lettered it, also did like an offset lettering. So
Yeah.
you'll see like the little white coming out of the box.
Yeah. I
every once in a
was
while.
just looking at that. Yep.
Yeah.
The black
kind of-
borders are not defining the box. That's so old school.
Right. Yeah.
That is really cool. But then this is my favorite image. I just love that.
Yeah.
To quote Goodfellas, one's looking at me one way, one's looking that way, and this is the middle. What do you want from me? This is really good, and your style subtly changes, which with each story.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of going back to that, is we want each one to feel a little bit different. I try to adopt like a slightly different style of drawing, and Ben will color slightly differently too, just depending on the type of story, the type of feel, or the theme or the motif we're going for. Another advantage of doing these short stories is we get to kind of experiment a little bit with our styles.
Oh, I didn't even realize this. Fabrizio Aiello is in the chat.
Hey, Fabrizio.
Hey,
He has a comic called Horace H. Hoover that any chance I can to push that comic. It's one of my favorite comics.
Yes.
He's an occult investigator set in like 1920s New York City. It's so cool.
Yeah, H.H. Hoover's awesome.
Oh, you read it? Oh, good for you.
it's a good book.
This panel I really like too. I'm using my mouse like anybody. Now I was going to point to the screen like anybody. Could you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Okay, I really like this. This like it reminds me of like the esoteric order of Dagon or something like that from Lovecraft. Like,
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you were telling me like this couple goes into like a town where everybody's in on it. They stumble across like a culty temple. I eat that stuff up. I absolutely love that stuff. Here you go. Check out Horace H. Hoover. Yep. Yeah. I like I said, this is right for me. I'm gonna back now. I was waiting for you guys to come back on the channel. You see, this is a different artist though, right? This is
Mario Williams.
Okay,
He's a buddy of mine from here in Tulsa, and he did an amazing job on this one. His artwork reminds me a lot of like the Top Cow stuff that was coming out back in like the early 2000s or so.
Okay.
And yeah, he did an awesome job with this one. It's more of an action horror, this one.
Yeah, and the colors are more like a modern color palette. This is creepy. This is your drawing again, right, Justin?
Now this is me.
That's Ben. Yeah.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah.
It goes on all fours. Yeah. See, I love this establishing shot right over here. This is pretty cool. So, let's see. I thought my mouse is not working. It's driving me crazy. So, you're at 140%. You got 10 days left. Ends on August 31st. Cool. So, I don't want to. I'm gonna back, but I don't want to do it live because I don't know if my credit card information.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I'm gonna be back. But I have to go because at 11:30, at 8:30, I have comic book team up on my channel with RJ and Vinny Tartamilla. So, is there anything that I didn't bring up? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about but I wasted your time talking about Tim Hortons and stuff?
I was going to bring up Tim Hortons, but no, you did a good job.
Hey, Dave Brink.
Yeah, Dave Brink is here. Check out Dave Brink. I just got all of the Genuine Comics that I missed. I love Genuine Comics. Dave Brink is a good guy.
Yeah, those comics look great.
They look so good that I asked if I could hire his colorist for my yeah. So thanks a lot, everybody. Go check this out. Let me put the link up one more time. The link is also in the description. Horror Comics, Volume 1. Are you going to put out a physical copy of Volume 1 again?
I might in the future. We did like a second chance campaign and didn't really move much, so we didn't do another printing. So right now it's just digital.
Okay, just digital. But you don't need Volume 1 to get Volume 2. I'm just want to make it clear to people because these are horror anthology stories that stand alone.
Exactly. Yeah, they're self-contained stories.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say somewhere. If each campaign picks up momentum, sooner or later you gotta because you demanded it. Reprint
Right.
number one. Yeah. All right, but thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you.
I gotta get prepped up for my 8:30 show. Wednesdays is like my big deal. And then I think at 10 o'clock tonight, I might just talk about comics in general. Open invite if anybody wants to come in and just talk about comics in general.
Thanks.
But thanks a lot, everybody. I'm gonna close this down. People calling me, messaging me. My friends wait till I go live, and then they call me. Thanks a lot, guys. Good
All right,
luck
thank
on
you,
the
John.
comic.
Thank you.
I got 15 minutes. I'm going to back, and then I'm going to prepare. But like I said, I don't need people knowing my credit card information. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
See everybody. Same channel in 15 minutes with Comic Book Team Up, RJ and Vinny Tartamella. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.
Cool.